doing that. Blessings in abundance. Everybody come on in. Everybody come on in. Blessings in abundance to everybody. We're going to have a powerful session this morning. Live this morning. Conversation, Q&A. Prophets versus readers. Prophets versus readers. We're going to tap right on in. Blessings in abundance to everybody. Blessings in abundance to everybody. Okay. So let's tap in this morning. Blessings in abundance, Dynasty Tribe. Everybody, if you're new, my name is Seer. Check out my page. I'm a seer. And we actually going to talk about this morning kind of what that means. You know, we get a lot of people, or I should say, not say a lot of people, there's these floating under the surface, if you will, questions within the spiritual space about what is acceptable and what is not, right, as it relates to our spiritual journey. You know what I'm saying? You know, is there really a difference between receiving a prophecy and, you know, getting a reading from a tarot reader or getting a reading from a seer? Is there a real difference? So we're going to tap in. Let's tap in this morning. Let's talk about this, because I really want to help people receive clarity as it relates in their spiritual journey, and honestly, more than anything, receive the freedom, receive the freedom to be able to explore and to understand or understand exactly what they're experiencing or what they're not experiencing, right? So let's tap in and talk about this. The difference between a prophet and a reader, and you know, I didn't use the word psychic for a reason, because there's certain words that have certain connotations. I don't have a problem with psychic ability is the same thing, right? But I didn't utilize that because, you know, today we utilize the word reader, you know, readings. We get tarot readings, etc. So let's talk about this. So the first thing, let's be honest. There is really no difference, right? There's no difference between receiving a prophecy. I'm talking about, we just deal with, for a second, just exactly what we're receiving when we get that spiritual service. There's no real difference between receiving a reading and receiving a prophecy in itself. There are differences, and I'm about to talk about what those differences are. Blessings in abundance. You agree? Red Rose said she agrees. Blessings in abundance to everybody. There is no real difference between the two. It's really the same thing. There are differentiations though, and I'm gonna tell you, and let's talk about what those differentiations are. The differentiation is the person in their spiritual practice, really. But a reading and a prophecy is the same thing. A lot of us grew up in religious households, in a religious background. And I'm gonna tell you my take on religion real quick. Religion for me is, this is how it works. Religions in general for me, they're the elementary schools of spirituality, right? And here's what happens a lot of times with, you know, our community or communities in general as it relates to spirituality. What happens is that depending on who the person is and what their journey is, let's say somebody, you know, I use the word graduates from religion. And then a lot of times what happens is they'll graduate from religion and they'll look back and say, we don't need that system at all. Let's cancel it, right? Let's throw it away. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with throwing away religion, with destroying religion. I don't believe in that. Nor do I think religion has all of the spiritual truths. I don't believe that. Right? So those are the extremes, because you have to, in the spiritual community, you either have, on the extreme level, you have people that believe that their religion has the only truth, or you have the conscious or intellectual or the elevated spiritual person that came out of religion and says, once they've graduated from religion, all right, now let's throw away religion. And I don't agree with that, right? So this is how I see it. Like, when we leave elementary school, right? When we graduate from elementary school, we don't look back, we don't become middle schoolers and look back at the elementary school and say, okay, now blow up the entire system, right? And when I say that, I'm not talking about the literal education system right now. I'm just talking about the structure, right? We don't look back and say, all right, now I graduated, so nobody else needs first through fifth, first through sixth, whatever it is that you had when you grew up. Nobody else needs it, right? So it's the same thing. when we was in elementary school, we learned, or our school system, period, to be honest with you, it teaches us things in a very compartmentalized way. So we got English, we have math, we have history, right? And unfortunately, our system, you know, and I'm not going to get deep into that right now, but the point is that it's feasible in an elementary school system to teach that way, because a child at first needs to understand the different elements, hence elementary, right? The different components. You can learn everything you need to know if you read the Bible. I agree that the Bible, I agree about it. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. Who was that said that? Kimberly? We're going to get into that, Kimberly. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you, can you tell me, man of God, about my finances? Okay. All right, we're not doing readings. Oh, hold on. Church folks go. Okay, family. So yeah, I'm gonna talk at the end. We'll talk about the you know, how to get readings and things of that nature. I got you. So anyway, let's get back to it really quickly. You learn compartment in a compartmentalized way. So when we let's deal with it socially. You know, when you in elementary school, they tell you to walk in line, right? They tell you to walk in line, walk behind you know, they give you name tags on your desk, so you know exactly where you sit every day. You talk about your favorite color and your favorite animal and things of that nature, right? But by the time you get to high school, you walk to class on your own, right? And if y'all want to come up, let me know. Say something say something to me first. But you walk to class on your own, right? By the time you get to elementary school. And so if you think about it in that way as it relates to our religious journey, right? If you think about it in that way as it relates to our religious journey, and us not operate in such an extreme, like, oh, either we throw away the religious system, or religion, the religious system is all there is. So that's where, let's get back to my point where I was saying that the difference with the prophet and the reader, right, is the person and the practice. Now let's real quick. I'm gonna give you all some information that a lot of people might not know. A lot of these things are based on the modern term called mancy, right? I'm gonna give y'all something real quick. But it's all spiritual gift. Exactly. Ray Rosa said it's all spiritual gift. I agree. Which doesn't make them special. Right. Exactly. Thank you. Exactly, Ray Rosa. I agree with you. So this is all based on, you know, modern term called mancy, right? So it's like Nancy with the N, except with the M, like man. Okay. So you can Google mancy list. Google this. You can Google this whenever you get a chance. I'm giving y'all some real authentic gems today. All right, so you can Google Mancy list, and when you Google Mancy list, you're going to see a whole list of different Mancies. And what a Mancy is divinity based on a specific practice, right? Mancies, and I'm gonna give you some examples. You all actually know about these already. You just don't know that you do, right? But today I'm going to give you some insight so we can simplify and I can help everybody identify exactly what's going on, and we can get away from demonizing something. And we can have knowledge, right? We can have knowledge and insight and revelation so that we can go forward in our spiritual walk. You understand what I'm saying? So real quick, y'all heard of this one. I don't know if it's Chiro or Cairo, forgive me about this. It's spelled C-H-I-R-O, Mancy. So whichever one, chiromancy, okay? You all have heard of this, that you just don't know that you know about this. This chiromancy is palm reading. Chiromancy is palm reading. These is people that utilize or learn the skill of reading someone's palm, right? I'm just gonna go through a few, all right? Y'all know about this one, and you may not know what the name of it was. Cartomancy. Cartomancy is when people utilize tarot cards, and some people use playing cards, right? To get messages, right? And these are what I call confirmation systems. They're confirmation systems because typically you're dealing with people that really have this gift. It's not that they really need the system. They're just utilizing the system to confirm what they believe they're seeing or hearing, right? But and this is not me advertising one way or another. I'm giving you all the information so that you can understand. We're going to get into the conversation, but I'm giving you the information first, okay? So cartomancy is using those cards, the tarot cards, right? And let's be honest, there's a lot of people that claim a religion that says that they shouldn't go and get certain readings, and they're going to get readings. They're going to get tarot. And I'm not against that. I'm cool. But it's important. I want us to be educated and have an insight so that we can understand exactly what's going on and differentiate properly and know. Now, there is light. I will get to it in a minute. There is a difference. You can tap into what we call, for lack of better words, the light or the darkness, right? In order to achieve an outcome. I need you to understand that. That's real. You can tap into, an angel of light, an angel of darkness, a spirit of light, a spirit of darkness, and get the same result. Now, when I say that, the consequences might not be the same, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. The consequence is going to be different, but you can get the result though. Okay. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. All right. So real quick, just a couple more. This one you may not have heard of, geomancy. Geomancy. Now listen, I'm from DC, and let me tell you what one major definition, or the major definition of geomancy is. It's placing buildings in a specific way in order to create a specific, I should say, what I want to say, shape, if you want to just put it that way. People do this so that they can harness a specific energy. You might not know this, but DC is actually created under geomancy. I'm not going to, if you don't know this, go look this up. DC, the downtown 10-mile radius, DC is developed in a way to harness a specific spiritual energy. If you didn't know that, you can go and look this up. You can go and study this for yourself. The actual streets make specific shapes, geometric shapes. Okay? And so this is why we're talking about when in my content and on the lives, when I say, we have been taught to compartmentalize spirituality in our practicality. While all along, the people that are running countries are utilizing spirituality in everything they do. It's all about the integrity in which you are using your gift. I agree with that. I agree with that, Red Roses. I agree with that. Yep. I agree with that. 100%. So real quick, so let's keep going, right? So then what we call prophecy, that comes from theomancy, right? It's when a prophet or oracle, they give you a prophecy. That's actually called theomancy, right? So understand that my point is that there are terms that are connected to all of these practices, and all of these practices fall under divination. Okay? Divination, divine comes from the word divas, okay? Divas or divas. And dias means God. Dias means God. So I'll give you another proof, right? Really quickly. I'll give you another proof that they put spirituality in things that you don't know about. Deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid is your DNA. Deo in deoxyribonucleic acid, Deo means God. You see that? They put God in something that you just think is science. You see that? And if you don't know that, then you'll think that you're just going to go see a doctor. But you're going to see a doctor that is standing on information, principles that are spiritually connected to something. And you don't know that. You just say DNA. So to you just think, and then you have people, the intellectuals, who think that they are beyond others or beyond spiritual people, or whatever the case may be, because they know what deonucleic acid is. Deoxyribonucleic acid is. Right? But this is my point. We got to understand that there is God. And let me tell you where they got that system from. They got that system from the earliest civilizations. The earliest civilizations put God in everything. That's where they learned it from. Okay? Understand that and you can read here, there's a book. And I'm not going to get into this today, but you can read a book. There's this book, Stolen Legacy. And that explains where a lot of the modern day information, sciences, etc., from astrology to your medical field, everything, where it derived from those earlier ancient civilizations. Okay? So anyway, I won't go too deep into that. But here's the point. So let's get into real quick the spiritual aspect of the difference between, your readers and I agree that it's the integrity. It's the integrity, and understand that there are different sources that people use. So let's keep it real. Let's talk about this for a second. You have people. You have people that call themselves. So let's deal with these categories. Prophets are typically, first of all, a prophet is an office in a religious system. Okay, it's an office in a religious system. That's what it is. It's a person that has a gift, and in those religious systems, this person is known or labeled with having eyes to see things that God shows them. Okay, that's what a prophet is. All right. Then you have let's go extreme, and let's talk about witches. Right? Let's talk about a witch, and I'm not dealing with the good or bad, because people say they're good witches, people say they're bad, but that's not what I'm doing. Let's deal with witches really quickly. So you have witches that, and understand that witch is a word. Let's be honest for a second. Witch is a word that where we get today's word doctor. These were originally from ancient times. They derived the doctor from the witch doctor, which derived from the shaman, right? Which derived from the priest, which derived from the prophet. Okay, so I'm not. The point of me saying it, I'm not promoting one thing or another. I'm just giving you the insight so you can understand what's going on. So let's deal with the witches. You have witches that do ceremonial things to connect with spirits in order to get things done, and they utilize specific mancies. In other words, there's a mancy that you all know called pyromancy. Pyromancy is the sacrificing of animals. We all heard of that, right? Because it's in the Bible. Pyromancy is the sacrificing of animals, right? It's the burning of animals. So you have witches that burn animals in order to conjure spirits, right? And create relationships with them, and so that those spirits can go and manipulate the energy, the ether realm, the spirit realm, in order to help create an outcome, right? So this is what I'm just giving you. So you got the prophet, you got the witch, right? So understand something. Understand that both of these people can have the gift to see the same thing, but they are utilizing totally different paths. And you got to be aware of this, right? They're utilizing totally different paths. And I will tell you this, I'll tell you this as well, that when you are getting a reading from specific people, when you're getting a reading, when you're getting whatever you want to, a prophecy, please understand that person's personality, that person's energy, that person's light or lower vibration impacts how they see. It affects how they see. So this is why some of us get readings and we confused, because you'll go to one person and they'll see something, and they may see similar things, but they'll see something and they'll read it totally different. And I'm about to explain further why that happens. They'll read it totally different, and now you confused. You like, well, am I supposed to be with the person or not supposed to be? Am I supposed to do the business or not supposed to do the business? They don't, it's causing confusion, and that's because you have to be aware. First of all, everything in your spiritual walk should be, she said yes. Everything in your spiritual walk should be led, it should be led, first of all, by your own relationship with spirit. Your own relationship with the Holy Spirit, your own relationship with God, your own relationship with spirit, your own relationship with your spirit guides, your angels, your ancestors. It should be, and everything the experiences that you get outside of yourself should be confirmation. Now, I will say there are times in life where we just don't know. I don't know what's going on. I need help, right? And then that seer or that prophet or whomever you're going to will give you information that is new to you, or feels new to you, but it resonates. So even in that situation, it's really not that they're giving you new information, because you are connected to the all-knowing, right? But whatever the reason was, you were disconnected, or you had a wall from having connection to your divine, the all-knowing. So then you got somebody who had a key and open the door for you to see. And when they start speaking, you will know, even if it sounds like new information, you'll know it's for you, because it will resonate, right? The ancient text says, test the spirit by the spirit. So You will know when a person is delivering something to you that is really for you, even if it's not confirmation. In other words, you heard it before, you heard it in yourself right away or prior to, because your spirit will tell you this resonates. All right. So anyway, the point is that we got to understand that the person in their practice is going to affect how the information that comes to you from that reader. All right. So let's talk about real quick, because I'm a seer. Let's talk about what that means for a second, because I know that I came into this space. First of all, I've had the gift since I was a little boy, and I'm grateful and humble, and it has nothing to do. I do it to serve people. That's what it's about. I love serving the people with what God gave me, right? And I'll talk about my story another time. But the point is that seer versus a reader, and I still give readings, but I'm just saying a reader, meaning that a tarot reader or even a prophet. A lot of people don't know this, but even in the Bible, it differentiates the seer and the prophet. And it's in Isaiah 29:10, right? In Isaiah, you can Google this, Isaiah 29:10, it says, I have covered the eyes or closed the eyes of the prophet, right? And it says, I have covered the head of the seer. All right. So understand this. I'll say it again. Isaiah, you can go Google this when you get a chance. Look in the Amplified version and it will say exactly what I said. You can look in the New King James Version, I think, as well, because it's different versions say different things. But the plainest version says, I have closed the eyes of the prophet and I have covered the head of the seer. All right. So when there are people that have different viewpoints on the seer, and I'm talking about in the space when they study it, on the seer and on the prophet, right? I think some of the plainest information I've seen on it, and the people that gives the clearest, because the Bible kind of deals with it poetically, right? So it doesn't really tell you why there's a differentiation. It doesn't really tell you why, right? And then it doesn't really elaborate on that differentiation, right? But if you look into other texts, and specifically, I like what I saw in the text, the Mormon Bible. And I'm gonna tell you again, when you graduate from religion, you start to understand that truth exists in multiple places, and that the Spirit will lead you and bring it together for you. So anyway, that's it for another conversation for another time. You still didn't say what a seer is. I got you. I'm about to tell you right now what the seer is. So the prophet says the prophet and the seer. So in Mosiah, in the book of Mormon, the Mosiah book, I think it explains it the best. It says that a seer is a revelator and a prophet, right? So notice the Bible says, I cover the head of the seer, I close the eyes of the prophet. Let me tell you what that means. Yes, you can say that you can deduce it down to spiritual eyes, and then for the seer, the fact that it's the whole head, it's the ears, the nose, the mouth, the eyes, you can deduce it that way. But really, honestly, what it is that the seer has access to the mind. The seer receives the mind of God. And what is in the mind of God? What's in somebody's mind? What is in all of our minds that is precious to us? Right? Because we're a reflection of God, right? What's in everybody's mind that is our prime intellectual property? Our secrets. Our secrets are those are the things that differentiate us from each other the most when it comes down to the mind. Because not just our thoughts, but our experiences. There are things that we know about ourselves that if we decide not to communicate with anybody, it's a secret. So the seer the seer receives secret downloaded information. The seer can decode information that the prophet doesn't decode. The seer has access. Now listen, it's not about better or worse, even though I will tell you that in the Mormon text, it does say that the seer supersedes the prophet. Right? It does say that in the Book of Mormon, but again, that's their point of view. But the point is that pay attention. Even the text, the Bible says that I cover the head of the seer, and he covers the eyes of the prophet. The seer uses all Everything. The seer can taste, smell, hear, and see. But the biggest differentiation with the seer is that the seer has the secrets. So you all saw that those that have been around for a little bit, you see me doing decodings at times. So, and it's fine. I'm good with people. There's people that are not, that they're not in this lifetime. They're not in that space. They're not on that frequency. So to some people, it's going to be, oh, you too deep. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that because I know who I am. So I'm good, right? And then there's others that connect with that information, because understand something. Decoding is something that's been happening since the beginning of time. And I'm about to explain it. I'm about to explain the depths of decoding, right? Real quick. I'm about to explain the depths of decoding. Check this out. So all divine information, do you think that you've existed prior to this life experience? Absolutely. I know for a fact. I know that for a fact. Yep. So I'm a seer. I've had the gift since I was a kid. This is Brittany. Never understood how I knew so much and felt. Yeah. Yep. A seer is, I'm telling you, a seer, yes. Yes. A seer is which revelation means to reveal. So when we deal with the apocryphas or whatever, or the book of Revelation, it means to reveal. So in other words, so why would you reveal something that everybody could see? A prophet teaches a known truth. Because a prophet is a teacher. Understand that. They don't just see, they're also a teacher. So a prophet, they teach a known truth, but a seer they know the secrets. Now, if we want to stay biblical for a second, that's fine. I got no problem. Remember, Yeshua says, I speak to the crowd in parables, but I show you the mysteries. Mystery means secrets. So a seer, right? Prophet gives confirmation. Yes. Can a person operate with both gifts? Yes, absolutely. Now, I'm glad you asked that, because I can taste it. Yes, yes. So I'm glad you asked that. So it goes like this. A seer, so a lot of people don't know this. They name seers in the Bible. So one seer that's popular that everybody knows about is Samuel, right? The Bible actually says in Samuel that Samuel was a seer before he was a prophet, which is why I told you that a prophet is an office. So a seer can also become or be a prophet, but not every prophet is a seer. I'm going to slow down and I'm going to say that again. All right? A seer can also be a prophet, but not every prophet is a seer. Okay? Yeah. Okay? And that's it. Yes. So understanding how people are scared of seers because they expose the hidden heart. Absolutely. Listen. You're absolutely right. Being even connected, having a seer as a friend, a family member, especially a significant, let me tell you, seers, you can't hide nothing from them. It's just real. Like they are different. Seers are a different breed. Yep. Seers are a different breed, right? So seers understand mysteries. So when you saw me decode Deion Sanders, see, understand, God takes a seer into the secret. Okay, let me back up and lay the foundation for y'all real quick. So understand that every divine truth comes in 3 dimensions, because everything in this realm starts on the third dimension. We graduate to, this realm is supposed to graduate to a 6th dimension. And it shows that the geometry in the Bible starts with a 3rd dimension. And by the time you get to the book of Revelation with the cube, it's a 6th dimensional revelation. Okay? I don't want to go too fast, but stick with me for a second. So every divine truth starts with the 3rd dimensional. It's 3rd dimensional. What's that 3 dimensions? It's astrological. So that means this is the stars. It's astrological. It's physical. That means the body. Okay? That means the body. It's physical. And then it's metaphysical, which means spiritual. And I'm gonna say it again. I told y'all today I'm dropping you. We going deep every week. We going deep, y'all. So just be prepared. We talking heavy in these lives, okay? So understand again. I'm gonna say it again. Whenever you are receiving or decoding a divine truth, it is three-dimensional. You don't have the whole thing until you have every dimension, okay? And I'm gonna give you an example in a minute. It's astrological. That's the stars, the sun, the moon, the stars, right? Astrological. It's physical or physiological, the body, earth, everything is around us, physiological. And metaphysical, which is the spirit, okay? So understand something. Every truth has a representation in all three of these. If you don't have the understanding of all three of these, you have an aspect of the truth. And because people are compartmentalizing, I'm going to give y'all an example in a second. Because people are compartmentalizing their thinking, here's what happened. I'm watching this. There's a guy named Donahue. He was a preacher. He was in religion for years. Then he started to understand the physiological and astrological understanding of the scriptures, and then he abandoned, well, I should say, let me say this. No, he started to understand the metaphysical. He started to understand the metaphysical and the physiological, yes. And then he started to abandon other aspects of truth. And that's because we're taught to compartmentalize. We're taught to history's over here, math is over here, English is over there. No. In the foundation of spirituality, we understood that everything was together. It was altered. We may have learned it compartmentalized, but when you get to the point of graduation, you understand how it harmoniously works. All right? So let me give you an example of what I mean real quick when I say that all truths are three-dimensional. I'll give you an example. Okay, so when you deal with the Christos, right? The Christ, right? As an example. The Christ is represented in the astrological as the sun. Okay? In the astrological as the sun. Okay? Then in the physical, you have the example of Yeshua, right? From a lifestyle perspective, but the physiological pineal gland. The oil that comes from that secretes from the pineal gland. All right. And I'm going to give you real quick. I'm going to give you an example I'm going to let you know so you all can understand that I'm not just talking. When Yeshua, I'll give you an example. When Yeshua in the text transmutes the water into wine, right? The physiological revelation of that, meaning that in the body, is when the pineal gland sends off a frequency and it transmutes the blood in order for it to turn into that Christos or that oil, right? That travels down to the bottom sacrum and comes back up and then releases as DMT, okay? And then that's where we say that the pineal gland, we're connected now to the spirit realm, we're able to receive from God, right? I'm giving it to you fast, right? So forgive me, because I'm trying to get back to the point. I don't want to go too long. But the point is I'm showing you real quick these three dimensions. So boom, so you have the sun, you have Yeshua as a human life, as an example. You have the pineal gland, okay? All right, and then you have the spiritual, the ascension of the spiritual, the metaphysical, okay? So understand, you can compartmentalize and have one of these and believe you have the entire truth. And this is the difference between a seer, right, and a prophet. Now listen, you'll know a seer because a seer is not judgmental of anybody understanding any form of truth. Let me read some of this. Tiffany says, exactly. That's why I was gifted with, Ann says, that's why I was gifted with hyper intelligence. Absolutely. Oh my God, my husband's uncle came to me in a dream months ago and said it was blood. Yes. He said blood gave us the ability to see, and that it wasn't actual wine. You're absolutely right. And real quick to close out that revelation, because I want you all to know what I'm saying is not a game. Pay attention to this. So Yeshua, his ministry starts with turning the water to wine or transmuting the blood, right? Then guess what he does at the end before he dies? He sits at the Last Supper and he has wine with the disciples. So he opens and he closes with wine. Why? And he tells you this time the secret. He says, this wine is my blood. Do you see that? Take it in remembrance. See that? So now Yeshua is doing in the physical at the table what the pineal gland does in the body. It's the same revelation. Now understand that when you understand this, when you understand that we are in, yes, absolutely. Yes, Brittany, absolutely. So he says, take this in remembrance of me. Check this out. And then but understand at the table, he takes the wine twice. People miss this. He takes the wine twice. The first time he says, take this in remembrance of me. The second time he says, this second time I drink the wine, which represents blood, is to establish the new covenant. Why? Because all covenants or contracts are established in blood. Right? So he says, this wine is blood. Now, when you understand this, when you get this three-dimensional revelation, you'll understand the astrological, remember the physiological and physical and the metaphysical. When you understand that we are in what I call a fractal communion at my vow renewal, it feels as though I was completely opened and have been seeing a lot. Yes, I took. Yes. So this is important, right? Because when you understand this three-dimensional revelation and you realize that we're in what I call a fractal frequency system. That's the Trinity system. A fractal frequency system. I'm gonna explain, so stay with me. Here's what that means. What happens astrologically is reflected in human behavior and is also reflected inside of the body. So you got people that understand the astrological and say, oh, the story of Yeshua is fake. Right? And then you got people that only believe in Yeshua, the historical aspect, and then they'll say, no, they won't hear the astrological part. Or you'll have people that understand the physical or physiological, what happens with the pineal gland, and they'll say, Yeshua never existed. Or the astrological, I ain't paying attention to that. But understand, seers know the secret. That the universe is a fractal frequency system. What that means is that there is a reflection in every system. Everything is happening harmoniously. I'm about to prove it to you in a minute. I'm about to prove it to you in another way in a minute, in a way that can connect with everybody. It's a fractal frequency system. So there is this artist, I can't remember his name right now. Forgive me, I can't remember, but he's a rapper. He's an underground rapper. And he does spiritual decodings, right? I came across this guy. So anyway, he did a decoding of Beyonce. And what he says is Beyonce's life reflects the story of Athena. Pay attention to what I'm telling you. He says it reflects the story of Athena. He says Athena ended up taming a centaur. A centaur is a Sagittarius. That is the sign of Jay-Z. Right? Athena also broke away from her father. Right? So just like Beyonce broke away from her dad as the manager. Not only that, Athena is a seamstress. So we got House of Darion, right? Not only that, her mother's name is Tina. Athena. So her life is reflecting the energy, if you will, the consciousness, if you will, of this deity, and we'll talk about in a minute what those are, of this deity called Athena. So then you have, so when you understand that our lives reflect what's happening astrologically and in the spirit realm, right? When you begin to understand how to decode and unlock who you are, you will find yourself in antiquity. You will find yourself. You'll be able to say, oh, I was this person, I see. Or, oh, okay, understand. Yeshua was reflecting the character of God. So it was a play on words. Yes, he was the Son of God, but he was also reflecting the astrological Son of God. Let me take it deeper. Let me read some of this. More like the astronomers, scientists, shamans, and the religious folks should all be working together. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. I'm curious, what were your thoughts on time and if it really exists? Okay, I got you, Tiffany. I got you. I'll talk about time in a minute. I'll talk about time. I got you. So when you understand this, when you understand that we are in a fractal frequency system, that there are reflections happening, then you'll understand the importance of the three-dimensional, right? Hence why we built pyramids. Because we understood the principle of the three-dimensional truth. If you go into the pyramid of Giza, right? Even though we have more pyramids in America, but the pyramid of Giza, you will realize that the structures inside reflect the life of Yeshua. You see that? So, and I won't go too deep into this, but why is that? Why are we seeing the Yeshua story way prior to his existence? The reason why is because every major prophet, messenger, Messiah is a reflection of a truth. When you get connected to who you actually are, you will realize that you're carrying the energy of a universal law, and you're the human version of that. Let me go in here and see what's going on. Hold on. I'm curious. I got you, Tiffany, on the time. How to break down our lives just so the guy did for Beyonce. I got you. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I got you. It is a stronger shape because of its base. Yes, the pyramid, yes. Okay, so let me go time and let me go the breakdown. Let me got you. So time. I know about the thought process of time not existing, right? And I understand that, and that is true. That is true. But understand that time, if you will, time is a marker. Okay? Time is a marker. We have to have the dimension of time. Without time, we can't reference one another, nor can we reference moments of revelation. So time is like it's like building a monument. It's like putting a monument so that we can reference what we understood prior to new lifetimes, if I could say it like that, right? So time is important. I know that we understand that when we deal with the divine realm and we deal with the realm of the realm of consciousness, the realm of God, that yes, we're outside of what we consider time. But understand, when we got to perceive something, right? To perceive something, and in order for a thing and once it's perceived, obviously it's materialized. Once we materialize or crystallize something, at that same specific moment, it is in conjunction with time. Okay? So we gotta have time as a principle in order for us to keep track of how things are happening and what our progression is. Because this is all about God progressing through the expression of God's creation. Okay? And I'm gonna leave that. I'll go deep on that another time. More. Okay. So let me talk about somebody asked, okay, how to break things down. Okay, so let me talk about this real quick. How to break things down. I'm glad you asked this question. Because this is, as a seer, this is my concern with people graduating from the elementary school of spirituality, which is religion, and going into the higher realms of spirituality, knowledge, and understanding, right? This is my concern. Because, unfortunately, the famous texts such as the Quran, the Bible, things like that, it does a good job of giving us a foundational depiction of things. So in other words, let me tell you what the Bible is to me, okay? Let me just tell you what the Bible is to me. For me, the Bible is a interdimensional, intergalactic truthery that holds the constitution of the universe. I'm going to say it again. Not a religious book. Interdimensional, intergalactic truthery, instead of history, truthery that holds the constitution of the universe. Now listen, pay attention to what I'm telling you right quick. The message is either going to be clear or tainted by a messenger. But don't be mad at the message, because the messenger gave it to you in a way that wasn't effective. So what I mean is, let's go back to what I said in the beginning. People graduate from religion and they want to throw away the system. They want to say, oh, the Bible isn't real, it's fake. It's no. Understand that the Bible, they hid all of your truthery, and they poetically hid all of your foundational spiritual science in that book. They hid it. They told you that you did not have a history or a truthery, and every Sunday, your true story and your true spiritual knowledge was in your hand. It was hidden in plain sight. So let me go back to my definition. I said it's an interdimensional. That means it crosses beyond space and time. That means it goes into the spirit realm and it's also into the third dimension. So it's interdimensional, intergalactic. We'll talk about that another time, but it means that it reaches other terrestrial territories, right? True story, right? That has the constitution of the multiverse. Okay, simplified, because understand the 10 Commandments came from the 42 laws of Ma'at. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Okay, again, the difference between seer, right, and prophet, not about competition, but I'm displaying for you today that when I say my name is Tay the Seer, I didn't say that because I want to sell readings. I don't care about that. I didn't say that because no. I know who I am. I was instructed. Okay. So anyway, let's get back to it. Let me go. Let me look at some of the comments before I go. Let me look at some of these comments real quick. I'm curious what your thoughts is about time. We talked about that. How do you break? Let's see. Just reference point, but it doesn't really exist. Wow. Okay. 42 laws of my eye. Yes. Hollywood hides things in plain sight. Yes, Tiffany. Hollywood hides things. Absolutely. Absolutely. And understand that the first Hollywood was the Bible. That's the first Hollywood. And what I mean by that is that Hollywood, all they do is bite off the Bible. The whole Marvel universe is the Bible. All the characters, everything, it's the Bible. The first Hollywood, I'm not trying to diminish the Bible. My point is that these are poetic stories that are based on some things that actually happened. I know about where Paul says that the story of Abraham and Sarah are allegory. Listen, you all, listen. I know. You hear me? I'm not just on this live wasting any of our time. I'm telling you all, I know the depths of this knowledge. Okay? So yes, I do know, but also I'm telling you that because I understand that we're in a fractal frequency system, that there are reflections, reverberations, ripples. Okay, so let me answer, because somebody said, how do you decode? I needed to answer that. How do you decode real quick? Okay, so this was, back to my point, this was my concern when we graduate from religion. Religion basically doesn't give us a lot of how-tos. It's not a lot of how-tos, right? So even with Yeshua in the Bible, you get fast, pray, don't sin, all right, seek. That's pretty much what you get, right? There's not a lot of how do you really unlock. We see Yeshua operating in all this power, but not only do we not know how to unlock it, but at the same time, for the most part, we don't even see the preachers operating in the power of the person that they're preaching about. We don't see it. So this is why it's a very diluted presentation, right? And like I said, it's an elementary school system, so I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but this is why it's a very diluted level of presentation of the information. So this is why I say you got to expand and stretch your wings and you got to go into other texts because the truth is hidden in different places. So I'll give you an example today. Look, I'm going to give y'all a real gem today. Hear me. The Gospel of the Holy 12 is not a canonical text. Canonical means this is the Council of Nicaea, right? This is the King James Council that came up with these going to be the books that go into the Bible, right? Of course, Constantine is who started the idea of the Bible, which was way before King James. Then you got the canonical. So the canonical Bible today is the Council of Nicaea. Okay, boom. The book of the Holy 12 didn't make it inside of the canonical books. Okay, but let me tell you, and yes, it's a different presentation. It's heavy on vegetarianism. It's heavy on caring about animals. It's heavy on connecting to earth. But let me give you some gems. And the reason why I really think, and no, not think, because I'm writing a book that's connected to this information, and I can't wait to release it. And I'm answering the question of the person that asked me, how do we decode? I'm still on you. So check this out. In the Gospel of the Holy 12, a non-canonical book, it's called Lection 6, which is the part about the youth of Yeshua. In that text, it gives you the breakdown of everything that Yeshua studied. It says he studied herbs. It says he studied the stars and how they operate. It says he studied sound frequency. It says he studied words. It said that he mastered the language of animals. So I'm paraphrasing right now. Y'all want to check this out? I'm telling you, it's super powerful. It gives you a whole how-to of how Yeshua goes away, because the Bible does say, I call my son out of Egypt. So it tells you that Yeshua went somewhere and studied. So this text gives you a play-by-play breakdown of everything he studied. This is what they don't give you in the church. This is why we haven't been able to activate. So I'm paraphrasing the answer for you, because you said, how do we decode? So first of all, obviously, the first things is that you want to do the basic stuff. The basic stuff is, the basic level, first of all, is you got to properly connect to the principles of your body, because understand all divinity is connected to nature. So the principles of your body is this. You've got to do your best to eat the things that electrify you. And I'm not going to go too deep into these because we can talk all day. You got to go into the foods that electrify you. You got to decalcify your pineal gland. So let me tell you, I'm going to give you some practical things in a minute. Listen, your body is a temple of the highest consciousness that exists in the universe. We call God, or our ancestors call Yah. Okay? Understand something. You will be locked out of your ability and your divine identity just by what you eat alone. And listen, I'm not a vegetarian. I'm basically I'm a pescatarian, okay? And I believe you should understand how to eat according to your blood type. I believe you should. It's not a one size fit all, right? So it's not about everybody eating one way. I don't believe in it. But what you got to understand and what you got to know is what's for you. You got to electrify the body, okay? You got to electrify the body. You got to decalcify the pineal gland, okay? This is the first two steps. How do we do this? Say, how do we do this? Okay. First thing you want to start with, intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting. So you want to pick a schedule. Start off slow. Pick a schedule weekly of when you're going to fast. Start off with 4 hours in a week. You ain't got to, you've never done it before. Start off small. 4 hours in a week. You know what I'm saying? Then 4 hours in 2 days a week. 4 hours, 3 days a week. You know what I'm saying? That's basically a meal, right? And then you grow. You grow, right? Let me see what's going on in the comments real quick. You like Sursa? Oh, hey. I don't know who that is. Also, my daughter is the next firstborn girl, and my dreams are unreal. Yeah, people miss what eat affects their thoughts. Absolutely, Tiffany. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, family. So before, understand, this is the part that religion don't teach you. They do mention fasting. In religion, in the religious school, they do mention fast, and they do fast. The Muslims fast, the Christians fast, they fast, right? and they tell you kind of like, okay, it allows you to kind of connect spiritually, but they don't give you the three-dimensional. Remember, I told you all divine truths are in 3 dimensions, okay? So the first thing is that your body gotta be right. Because I can give you information all day. You can get readings all day, right? But if you don't first deal with your temple, because your temple is the antenna that connects you with the other realms and connects you with your ability to understand who you are. Greetings. Greetings, Queen Bella. Greetings. Okay? So that's the first thing. That's the first step. After you've dealt with your body, then you want to start going into the different knowledges, the different levels of knowledge, right? And listen, you're going to be led by the Spirit by this, because understand that it depends on who you are. If you're a healer, you're going to, there's basic knowledge you want to have, but if you're a healer, you're going to learn the modalities of healing, right? If you're a seer, you're going to, the Spirit is going to lead you into the secret knowledge of the universe, right? If you're a prophet, you're going to learn how to hone your skill of seeing, okay? Same thing if you're a reader, okay? Or what they call a psychic. You see what I'm saying? So from fasting, from getting your body right, is where you can start to connect to the Spirit and start to get instruction on what it is for you to start reading, to start listening to start spending your time with. Okay? Now you're starting to connect to the appetite of your spirit versus the appetite of your body. I'm about to say something. Hear me quickly. Hear me real quick. So this is how you know, right? Because we talk about darkness and light. This is a sidebar. We talk about darkness and light a lot. We talked about darkness and light. And we talk about it in a very vague sense. In your opinion, what's the difference between a seer and a psychic? Oh, we talked about this. We talked about this earlier. I don't know if you just came in, but we talked about this earlier. I got you. I'll go back. And just so everybody knows, I put my lives in my Patreon, and sometimes I put them on my YouTube. So y'all make sure so if you miss something, you can go back, because I'm telling you, we dropping heavy gems. Okay. So real quick, let me break down light and darkness, because we talk about light and darkness in a very vague way a lot of times, just as an energy a lot of times. And we don't really differentiate or talk about how to differentiate the difference between light and darkness, okay? So we know that on one dimension, obviously, that, light and darkness is represented as ignorance and knowledge. Okay, we understand that. Let me take it deeper, though. When we deal with adversarial energy, or what we call, the devil or whatever, but adversarial energy versus God energy, the energy of Yah, the energy of creation, right? What distinguishes them for real? Because we never talk about this. What really distinguishes the difference between these two levels of consciousness? And today I'm going to give you a real tangible way to differentiate the difference between the two without just talking about it from an energetic level. The Christ consciousness, the God consciousness, the adversarial consciousness both asks for payment, right? In order for you to get into their kingdom. They both ask for a specific payment. Pay close attention to what I'm telling you, okay? When we deal with the adversarial energy and consciousness, it always asks, right? It always asks for the payment of your soul. Listen to me. Listen to me, because I'm going to give you the other one. It always asks for the payment of your soul. Do you want to know why? Because adversarial energy is always looking for a new host. It wants to have jurisdiction over bodies, because understand that energy doesn't have jurisdiction over a body or over any territory, right? Within a space where God's people exist. So because we're here, that's why the adversarial energy always says, give me your soul. So when you see Yeshua that is being tested being tested in the wilderness, he asks him to bow down and worship him. Worship there means obey. So it's saying he asks for his soul. But what does God ask for? What does God ask for? When God requires payment, God requires the payment of your ego. God always asks for the payment of your ego. In other words, God wants you to diminish your ego in order to give you secrets of the universe, in order to give you spiritual power. God asks for the ego. The adversary asks for your soul. You want to know why God doesn't ask for your soul? Because God already has it. He gave it to you. So why would God ask you for something that that belongs to him already? You are connected to God in your soul, in your spirit. You are one with God through your soul, your spirit, and your soul. God doesn't ask for you. And I know we say at church that you got to give your soul to Christ. Understood. I get that. Understood. Because soul represents our emotions, our intellectual capacity. I get it, right? God doesn't ask for your soul, though. God asks you for your ego. God asks you to sacrifice your ego in order for his spirit or your spirit connected to God to have leadership and jurisdiction over your soul. But the adversarial energy asks, it says, give me your soul. So hence we say, don't sell your soul. I'm gonna take it biblical. The Bible says, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? See that? See that? So understand that the adversarial energy asks for the payment of your soul. Why? Because your soul is what you take with you in other dimensions. I'm gonna give you this gem real quick. I'm gonna give you one more level deep. There are people that say that hell isn't real. There's people that say that, and there's different revelations of understanding what hell is, because hell is also when the soul enters the body because it's in a lower dimension. I understand all that. I got it. I told you. I got it. But understand something, that the dimension of hell is Israel, but it's just not for you. Hell is for fallen angels. Hear me real quick. Hell is for interdimensional angels that have turned away from the vibration of God to do their own thing, and then has tampered with God's creation and tried to create their own thing. In other words, the adversarial energy is like a cancer. What do you got to do with cancer? You got to eradicate it. But understand that the adversarial energies, what we call low vibrations, demons, whatever, they know that destination is for them. But if you come into contract with them, guess what? You get their same consequence. So this is why the adversary is always asking for your soul, because the adversary wants jurisdiction, and the adversary wants you to experience or have the same consequence. That is the trick of the adversary. Once you listen, you as a child of God, and I know that certain religions ain't gonna like this, right? But let me tell you something. Your destination after you leave, after you are absent, after you transition from the body, hell is not for you. It ain't got nothing to do with you. Unless you come into contract. Now listen, contract is not that you did something wrong. Contract is not that you made a mistake. Contract is not that you was on the wrong path in life at one point. That's not a contract. A contract is a conscious blood connection to a spirit through blood sacrifice, right? This is conscious. This is a conscious decision. See, understand something. There are laws in the universe. God locked himself out of your decision making, gave us free will. So the adversary cannot tamper with your free will. This is why the adversary is known as a trickster, a deceiver, because only thing that the adversary can do is deceive you into coming into contract. The adversary can't force you. The same way that what we call the God energy or God consciousness can't force you to go on your divine path. Can't force you. Because ultimately, you are God's. You're the children of God, and God is the God of gods. But I won't go into that. Listen, I feel people go there and they can realize their wrongs. Now listen, I'm glad you said that. Let me talk about this real quick. On the other side, and I won't go too deep into this, but on the other side, where the sons of God go, it's called a dry place. Okay, so it's like a hell. It's not hell, the same hell that the angels go to, the lake of fire. It's like a hell, but it's a dry place and they can get out. It's a dry place. The Bible actually talks about it. I'm going to tell you about it in a minute. It's a dry place. It's basically a desert. It's a desert in the other realm. So understand that the other side of that, the Bible calls it paradise. So think about this. It's the difference between being in the Caribbean and being in Las Vegas. But I'm not talking about the city, Las Vegas. I'm talking about the desert part, Nevada. So on the other side, this is the dichotomy that you have, right? In the world in between worlds, you have paradise, right? Basically, like a tropical place, right? And obviously there are dimensions, but we're dealing with the basics. A tropical place, and then you have the desert, where people have to cleanse their consciousness of things that they did while they were in the body. Okay, so boom, so where is that in the Bible? Remember, in the Bible, there's this guy named Lazarus who sees Abraham on the other side. The Bible calls it Abraham's bosom, or the paradise, and he speaks, and it says that there is a body of water in between these places you can't cross. So it says Lazarus screams over to Abraham and says, "Please send one of your sons back for me and tell my family not to come here." Lazarus was this rich dude who did nefarious things to become rich on earth. And it's not about being rich. It's not a sin to be evil. It's not low vibrational to be rich. That's not it. But the point is that he did nefarious. Remember, gain the whole world, lose your soul. So did nefarious things to be rich on earth. So ended up in the dry place, right? So he says, he asked him to send somebody back. Abraham said, listen, they got the prophets. If they ain't gonna listen to the prophets, they ain't gonna listen to anybody I send back. Then he says, please send one of your sons over and have them to drop a drop of water on my tongue. So understand, like, hell is a state of mind. Absolutely, hell is also a state of mind. So understand that in the other realm, remember we talked about this for those who didn't see this. Remember, this is why we talked about all divine truths are in 3 dimensions. They're in 3 dimensions. So again, compartmentalization. There are people that understand the part about it being the state of mind. There's people that understand the part about it, the soul coming into the body. There's people that understand the part of what I'm talking about, the dry place. There's people that understand the part of the lake of fire for the angels, the fallen angels. It's compartmentalized. So when you have a compartmentalized understanding, right? And sometimes it's just where you are in your walk, or in your spiritual walk. You know, it's not about better or worse. And that's what I want us to get away from. I want us to get away from this. My knowledge is better. My knowledge is higher. My knowledge. No. When you really get into the depths of understanding esoteric divine knowledge, first of all, you get humbled, because the first thing you know is how ignorant you are. Because you can go back to all the times you thought you knew everything and you realize, wow, I didn't know. So it humbles you. And then when it humbles you, you start to see, and it's just like being in 12th grade and looking back at the first grader. You're not in 12th grade and look back at a first grader and look at a first grader like they're less than. Because you understand that in the education system, they're going through the process of being educated, right? Right. She said, Foreign said there's nothing but separation, right? They want us to argue about religion. Exactly. They see all of this. So listen, this is there are consistent psychological attacks, psycho warfare attacks on us, on the indigenous people, on the righteous people. There's consistency of psychological and spiritual warfare. And the reason why is because the most dangerous thing for the people that see themselves as rulers or elites, the most dangerous thing for them is for us to start operating as one again. That's the most dangerous thing in the world for them. Okay? So they work overtime creating psychological warfare, spiritual warfare, so that the Muslims against the Christians, the conscious people are against the religious people. The intellectual people are against the conscious people. So you'll never cooperate. I'm so glad I opened my yes for her. She said, you'll never cooperate. You'll never come together and understand that that is the entire point. I'm going to go back real quick again to Yeshua. All right? That's the entire point. Yeshua is jumping up and down. He's screaming and jumping up and down to help people understand. I came to make a nation of Christ. I came to make a nation, a people of Christ. I didn't come, it's not about one person. So this is why you see the Bible talks about the body of Christ. I know religious people have made that, okay, so let me really quickly, let me give you some more, some other revelation real quick about the dimensions of the ascension in our spiritual walk. Together we stand, divided we fall. Absolutely. Absolutely, foreign. Absolutely. I'm so glad. Yes, absolutely. Let me give you all real quick. This is powerful. Y'all listen, pay close attention to what I'm about to tell you. This is powerful. These are the dimensions of our spiritual ascension. This is how we can label them simply, right? Let me give it to you. So level one is the believer. Okay? Level one is the believer. Okay? So, you know, the first battle that we go through in our spirituality is, what do I believe? What should I believe in? But understand, that's an educational process. And on the level of belief, you will experience moments of supernatural things happening. And that's to edify you as a believer, right? I'm not talking about any religion. I'm talking about spirituality, right? So the first level is belief. The second level is knowing. The second level is knowing. Now, within knowing, there are two dimensions within knowing. There's the knowing of knowledge, and then there's the knowing of self. I'm gonna make sure I say this slowly, okay? So there's three levels. There's three levels altogether. The first is belief, because we got to figure out what to believe. So Muslim, Christian, this is elementary school. This is why when you go to religion, what do they call you? A believer. You're a believer in religion. Because in elementary, that's what we're learning, what to believe. So they're teaching, we didn't understand that when we was in elementary school, it was also a doctrine, that we were simultaneously being indoctrinated. So we were taught a history, right? That was not real, right? That was somebody's perspective. So we were in a religious experience, even at school. We were being taught to believe that this guy discovered America. That was a belief, right? You're saying that residue of people and the power and the fact that from the centuries ago. Absolutely, Lane, absolutely. Self-mastery, absolutely, Aim, absolutely. So let me finish this. Belief is level one. Level two is knowing. Knowing, and within knowing, there's two dimensions. There's the knowledge of the information, then there's knowledge of self. The third dimension and the highest is the dimension of what we call Christ or Messiah. And let me tell you what the Christ and the Messiah has the power to do. The Christ Messiah has reached the level and the power of Creator. Now, this is where you see Yeshua multiplying the bread, multiplying the fish. This way you see Yeshua walking on the water, right? In other words, Yeshua has come to the knowledge that is above all of the laws. Above just means that total understanding or total understanding, right? So has all of the knowledge of the laws of the universe, and now knows how to utilize them, right, in order to create. So you create your life now. What you create your abundance. You now can look, you can come around a person that's sick and create healing. You see that? It's connected with alchemy as well. We now, once we learn all the knowing, level two, once we have all the knowledge, we now can utilize it to be the master of creation. That means God has given us now the rights of passage to act as the creator. Okay? Mine too. Let's go. Let's see what is going on in the chat real quick. The brainwash. Yes. Yes. Foreign saying brainwash. They lied to us about who we are. Why would we trust them in anything? Exactly. You're a Muslim? I can 100% assume. No, I'm not a Muslim. Oh, she wasn't talking to me. She was talking to foreign. Okay, sure did. Yup. You believe what you believe. I don't believe what I... Okay, so these are the dimensions. Believe, knowing, and then reaching the level of the Christ. Reaching of the level of Christ. What does that mean? What does that mean literally? And I'm a digress. I've been on here a long time. What does that mean literally, right? To reach the level of the Christ. This is when the consciousness, the Spirit of God, becomes fully resident within us. We have decalcified our pineal gland, right? We've electrified our body. We have eaten the fruit of knowledge, not of good and evil. I'm talking about just the knowledge, right? The knowledge of truth, right? We have digested truth. We have started to understand the secrets or the esoteric levels of truth, the revelation, the revealing. And then once we have that, we are now able to create or utilize all the laws of the universe to operate as the Creator did. That's the journey. Believe, know, and become the Christ. Okay? I showed y'all, listen, in the Seer Bible, I'm not going to pull it up right now. In the Seer Bible, in the book of Acts, it says that when they were looking, y'all can go look up Seer, C-E-P-H-E-R, right? Seer Bible has the book of Enoch in it. It has the Jubilees. It has other books in it, okay, that are non-canonical, okay? But it has all of the canonical books as well. When you go into the book of Acts in that, and forgive me, I think it's chapter 22. I think it's chapter 22. It says that the disciples, the disciples were looking for Saul, right? And it says that they were teaching the people. And it says that the people called them Mashiachim. Mashiachim. When you look up that word Mashiachim, it means Christ, plural. So the text in the original, so this is why understanding the language is so important, because this is where the secrets, the revelation of what this information means is. Listen, in the real text, and even if you look up the history, at the time, the people that colonized Kemet and turned it into Egypt, colonized Judea, they called the Coptic, back then the Christians, they called them Messiahs. That's what they called them. They called them Messiahs. Now, the colonizers called them Messiahs because as a derogatory term, but then the followers also called them that because they understood that it was a spiritual level to reach, becoming a Christ. Okay? When you become a Christ, you have then manifested all the power of the Creator. All the power of God has become available to you. You've accessed it. Okay? But it's a journey. All right? Let's see what's going on in here real quick. Come back, please. Come back to Islam. Basically, the truth shall set you free from the brainwashing. Absolutely. Absolutely. And says Ashe. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, fam, I'm going to digress from here. Listen, I appreciate everybody tapping in. Listen, I'm going to be live again tonight at 9 p.m. I'm on the Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. Y'all go, and if you need readings and things of that nature, listen, you can go on my page. Today is what? Today is the 8th. So do this. If you need a reading, I'm giving, for people that are on the lives that stay, I'm doing a gift. Okay, so all you got to do is send me hashtag tribe88. Hashtag tribe88. And I know it's 10-8. I know it's 8, but put 88 because octo means 8. Hashtag tribe88. Put that. And then I'm going to allow you to just donate whatever you want for a reading. You can donate whatever you want. $1 up. You can donate whatever you want. That's my gift to everybody that's tapping in, because this is about me lifting us into the next stratosphere, doing my part to lift us into the next stratosphere of spiritual activation. Okay? All right, Dynasty Tribe, I love y'all. Again, check out, for those that missed this and wasn't there from the beginning, I put this in the Patreon. Sometimes I put it on the YouTube, so you want to go and you want to tap in, you want to, and to everybody who's already part of the Tribe Trion, I call it the Tribe Trion. Everybody's already part of the Tribe Trion. I love you. I appreciate you. I put new readings in there. A lot of the stuff that you'll see in the future. Because I can't put a lot of things out right immediately, and I'll teach you the law of that later. But I put it in there in the Tribe Trion, and then I reference it later. So you'll get a lot of things ahead of time. You'll get, the books that are coming out that I'm writing and things of that nature. You'll get that first. So those things are coming. But I want everybody to enjoy your Sunday. I'll see everybody that's going to join me at 9 p.m. tonight, Eastern Standard Time. I love y'all. Enjoy your Sunday. All right, and we'll talk soon.